Alright, sorry about that. We're gonna need, hold on, let's make sure that the other stream is still operating. You see that? Alright, we're gonna fix this. Because this button is good, but this button sort of not. And you notice, you see that? I didn't lift it like that. But it's lifted, so we gotta fix it. We're fixing this side now. Alright, so you're gonna need any type of pill. You see how I already cut a tiny little piece of it? No, you're gonna need some type of, you're gonna need this type of plastic, or maybe the bottom of a cup. Something that's a decent small amount of millimeters. You see the thickness of that? You need something that thin, about that small, and you'll trim it later. And I'll explain to you how I take it out. You need about that, right? It's a fucking Christmas stream showing how to fucking fix this shit. So you take that, little tiny little chunk. You need scissors. You need tape. And you need the right screwdriver. It's a small tip one. And you gotta be able to not you gotta make sure you don't strip the tip. So the first step is that you need to remove the adhesive. And mine are pretty old, but even if you pull them off, you sort of, how do you call it? The adhesive stays. And I've removed and put them on so many times already. The adhesive remains sticking and they're still not worn, so it's the right way of doing it. Just save the adhesive strips, put it backwards so they don't stick on nothing, and remove each side. When I bought this mouse wasn't $169 fucking dollars. This mouse was like maybe 120. I don't understand why this shit is giving me a hard time right now. There it is. I bought it for like 120 because I would never buy a fucking mouse for 160. I would never buy a mouse for 160, and Logitech for some reason made it fucking $40 more expensive. Maybe they're becoming something, you know, a special mouse of the past. They're 160 now, so they're somewhat irreplaceable. So you do that, you remove the adhesive, take a screwdriver, and you remove every screwdriver. Go. Has to be the right head. If it's not the right head, you're gonna have real difficulty getting them out, because they're really tiny and they could scrape. And you shouldn't worry about putting them on too tight either. Just put them on, and just make sure you secure the device and not worry about any torque. But do worry about them stripping, because if they fucking strip, you're shit out of luck. That's why it's best to just take them all out. Using a magnetized small screwdriver. And there they are. All of them are out. 1, 3, 4, 5, and some of the internal ones are different sizes, but they're just they are the same. They are the same diameter. You take the mouse, right, and you open it like that. Let it drop. And sort of let it drop a little bit. The first thing you're gonna do is that you're going to remove from the bottom underside. I've done this so many times I could make a video of it in this particular way. Yeah, no, you fucking, I've dealt with this fucking mouse so many fucking times. This is best as it gets. So you got it like this already, right? This is $160 mouse that I got when it was $120. I don't know if you can see it this way. Right there. Got it like that. You gotta remove to get to here. You notice that this one has some tape. See how this is? See what's happening right here? It's a small piece of this with tape on top of the gray button, because these gray buttons wear out. They're made of soft rubber, and even though the mechanism, the clicking mechanism is perfect, those wear out. Most people, when you see this type of repair, would think that you would need to repair the clicker, and the clickers are fine. The clicker work perfectly. What does wear faster than the clicker is the plastic, that rubber bullshit that's in that rubber bullshit that you see right there. See that rubber gray shit? That gray shit over time gets thinner, you know, plastic, soft plastics over time. You keep pressing them, you keep pressing them, and they get sort of like an indentation, and you get less clearance. So as a result, you put something, you know, I've upgraded from I used this recently. I've upgraded from a regular red Solo cup thickness, which is a really thin millimeter. If you look at a Solo cup, a plastic Solo cup, they're really fucking thin. About that same exact size, and that's like a really small shape that you will cut down at, you know, at a particular shape, so that you cover that particular area right there. And you put a tape, and you have to put a tape in a specific way, because if you put it in a wrong way, you wouldn't be able to do it the right way. So now the next step, hold on, I don't like the screen going dark on me. Now the next step is to remove the fucking screws from the inside, because you want to get it perfectly. You don't want it. The first times I did this, how do you call it? The first times I did this, I did it from the top, or I did it from here without removing the outer case. You know, I did it differently. I did it from like right here. I tried working the tape around from in this type of position, and that type of way is bullshit. You know, like I figured out. I went online and I saw how these guys dismantle this fucking thing, and I figured out how to get it right. So what you do is that you remove all the internal screws. These three, by the way, you're removing this one, one in the center right here, and one that you could barely see right here. Right, I wish I could have a different light. Hold on, let me get a fucking light. I don't know if you guys could see it like that. See if this light doesn't bother me that much. So see that there's a couple of them right here. You want to take out this one. You want to take out this one that I'm going to take out now. This one in the center, and this one right here. Just this one, and this one. Let me take this one out. Yeah, I've become a fucking technician. Trying to take care of this old as hell shit, or trying to take care of my belongings. I've become somewhat of a technician fixing fucking computer parts, or at least this thing. It's the only most worn out part. And I'm guessing it's malice. In my opinion, somebody broke this shit on me and I didn't even notice. So it doesn't matter, whatever. If you mix up the bolts or the screws with the other types of bolts inside from outside, they don't fucking matter. You shouldn't worry about it. And you shouldn't be worrying about removing this plug right here, because you don't need to remove that center shit. Now what you do, hold on, let me move this light, because this light, the magnet on this light is dangerous. I don't want this light to be in my way, and I don't want the magnet to affect any of my light, because I have a light, right, and that light has like a strongest fucking magnet in the bottom, and I don't want it to affect my, I don't want it to affect any of the screens that I got here. Alright, so what you do is that you fucking slowly start moving it. You get what I'm saying? You gotta press forward here at the same time. You see that? That one's already out. And you gotta slowly push this one forward, and at the same time start figuring out. See that? See how I'm slowly disassembling the tail or dividing? See how I'm slowly lifting the middle up? So you click one out of the place and you slowly start forcing it outwards, and then you have to press in the same place you're going to put the little piece of plastic from the pill and the little tape outwards. Press outward like that, and don't worry, it's strong as fuck, so you don't need to, you shouldn't think that it's going to break it or anything. It's really fucking strong plastic. Like that, and now it's off. Now you have two pieces. You have the piece that I have already fixed so that the clicker works flawlessly like it used to before, with a tiny little piece of pill. And what you're working with, or the piece of plastic that you're looking for, is something that's a very thin, small amount of millimeter of something, so that it actually presses the button, as opposed to that gray shit. Because this gray shit right here gets that line. You see that line? That line right there, you can put tape on there, you can put whatever. Tape is not enough. You got to make it hard. It has to be a hard surface, just like the hard surface of some type of plastic like that, so you could put it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece of plastic that old tape that I already put here. Right? I already put some tape here because I already tried to fix it. Got to remove that piece of shit tape out of there. And I'm going to cut another piece of this. And this is how you fix a fucking $160 fucking mouse. You need to take it to fucking, you don't need to take it to the Logitech, back to Logitech. You don't need to do none of that shit. You just need to cut and shape another hard piece of this plastic. See how I got it? A nice little tiny piece. Wait, it fell off my finger. Tiny piece of this plastic like this, and this is hard plastic. You know, this fucking Tylenol cold and flu severe. All you want is a little bit of the plastic with the silver on it. And then you take up this right here. You take this up, you pick it up, and you put it on top, and you start sort of figuring out how thick you want it. You know, you start shaping. You start shaping the little piece of plastic that you got into the shape that you want it. You just take it and snip it a little bit, you know, give it a little cut, left, right, a little cut, just to square it out, make it nice and small, so it's just the same size as that other one that I just put in there. You know, it doesn't have to. You try not to be so big. You know, make it the same size as one that you have already put there. And if you haven't, you have to trial and error until you get the same size as the actual button tip or head of what clicks the button. You want something the size of the gray matter bullshit that they put in there, so that it clicks the button nice and tight. And then you secure it with a tape, and you make sure you tape it nice and tight to it, which I'm gonna do in a little bit. Tape it nice and tight to the button, and then your button's gonna be nice and firm. There we go. It's almost precisely the same size. There you got it. There we go. This is my new right click. This is about the size of my new right clicker, which I'm going to put to the top. I'm going to grab a piece of tape. And trust me, it doesn't go off. When you put this shit in there and you tape it to that little knob thing that's on top of the clicker, it doesn't go off. It stays right there. And it's a $160 mouse we're talking about. We ain't talking about some fucking $25 mouse and shit. It's $160 now. $169 and shit. When it used to be $120. And we don't have the luxury of getting rid of it overnight. You know, it'd be stupid to get rid of it overnight for some reason. When you're looking at a piece of tape that's approximately the thickness of the actual button. So you want it thin. You want it like a nice thin strip. Nice little thin strip. You put it in the middle. You put the nice piece of plastic in the middle. Nice piece of plastic in the middle. You see it, you see it right here. Nice piece of plastic right there. And you secure it by taping it into that. And you secure it by taping it into that nice and tight. And it takes a couple tries. It's not, you know, the tape size, it's really thin too. You have to be really precise in the tape so that it doesn't interfere with anything else and it doesn't stay stuck on you. You have to cut this strip of tape in the particular way that it's nice and firm there, you know, nice and adjusted, nice and firm right there, and you know for a fact that it's not going anywhere. And I would not advise into gluing it there, because eventually aluminum and plastic continues to get thin. You understand what I'm saying? Like plastic will continue to how do you call it? Plastic will continue to get thin on you, you know, start acquiring an indentation. How do you call it? The specs of this device say that after a million clicks, that's how long they last. And what they mean is a million clicks, that plastic shit on the inside is gonna get soft, and you're gonna need a new one, you know, or you're gonna need a new mouse or whatever. After a million clicks, you will be out of luck. And here I'm showing you how to give it life. You know, how to make your device and here you can tell right here that both of them have a little tape, and that's all you need. As long as you feel that they're absolutely secure and they're not going anywhere, you know, that nothing is going to happen, because obviously these components are really micro, you know, this is a really small component. All I did right there is add a millimeter or no, not even the millimeter, a fucking micro something, a microscopic measurement to the button. And this is my regular left click, and it works flawlessly. I'm doing it to this one so that it does the same thing. And now we're gonna put it back together because we did it. You know, you have already successfully, with a tiny little piece of plastic and aluminum, as that's what this is. This is like it's a really small amount of paper. It's like a label slash plastic that's really hard. You know, this plastic is really hard. You added a little bit of plastic to it, and then you grab it, right? You grab it, you put it together. You put this shit together right here, right? You put it right here, you know, like that, and you squeeze it in. Squeeze it in like. Obviously, taking care of the cables, you gotta be nice with your shit. Okay, you squeeze one in, squeeze the other one in. There we go, one. One's in already. Hold on. There we go. Two are in. Both of them are in. Now you screw them together. Ta-da! Now they're back in. Now you have a really strong left click. And this is the first time I had to do left click. And I know for a fact it isn't going to stick on because it's going to work exactly like the other one is on. You know, my left click, you know, there's going to be no problem with the mouse because the thickness of the amount of you know, what I did to it, the thickness of what I utilized to add a little bit more life to the click is the right measurement. Remember, I tried Solo Cup. Solo Cup is thin, but it isn't that thin, but it's still fairly thin. You know, the size of the thickness of a Solo Cup, we're talking about a really small thing, and that's how I solved this. That's how I solved the problem of not having a click in my $160 mouse. Instead of replacing the logic board, soldering something in, bullshit, caca, excuses, whatever the motherfucking excuse these guys could have to fix this shit a particular way or the way they want to fix it. This is the real Terror Destroyer 5K way. This is the way of how you fix this shit. This is what you want to do if you have this mouse. You know, and this is not my first rodeo. This is probably the fucking nth time. Because remember, plastic continues to wear. I'm pretty sure the plastic that I use now is going to last me way more than the Solo Cup because of the thickness of it. This is the thickest so far, or the material next in line that I've tried to repair after giving up on the thickness of a Solo Cup. So I utilized this thickness, and that thickness was substantial. You know, it worked. It's way thicker. Where is it? Where's the pill top? Where is it? Where is it? I had it right now. I had the pill thingy. Where did I put the pill thingy? I don't know. I lost it. Where the fuck did I put it? I had the pill thing on my hand a second ago. And now it's not here. Where is it? Oh my goodness. What a miracle. Here it is. So, this is the second thing. This is the second type of plastic I tried. And this is way thicker than a Solo Cup. If you could tell the thickness of that is a little bit stronger, beefier, hardier. So it's a thicker piece of plastic, and it works for the left click. And I know for a fact it's gonna work flawlessly on the right click. Put it back together like that. Everything works flawlessly. Because, you know, Terror Destroyer 5K isn't going to tell you to ruin this shit. Oh, wait, I forgot something really important. Let me reopen it. Put the fucking red and orange cables back underneath this bullshit right here. Red and orange, and maybe even the black one. Right here. So you can see what I'm doing. They're like in a little loop right here. Put them back where they were. Only the white one should be free. Little loop right here. I can't fucking see it. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? I'm trying to put them all together. I gotta put them in one by one. Where the fuck is it? I can't see it. There we go. That's one. That's two. And that's three. There we go. All those three black label, all those three colors, orange, red, black, should go underneath that fucking hook under there, where you saw them at first. And go back. Put the screws where they go. So put the screws right here. One by one. Remember, having the right screwdriver is key. You don't want to strip this shit. You don't want to strip this shit. Trust me with this. And you don't want to go too tight with it. See that? I barely tightened it. I did tighten it, but I didn't put pressure in it because they're tiny. They're fucking delicate as fuck. Losing a thread on one of these cocksuckers could be the death of your $160 mouse. So you have to, although you'll get some wear on them. You'll get some wear on them. Obviously, because you're putting a metal point to a metal point, you'll scratch or whatever. But what you don't want to lose is the thread. And we're doing this for communist countries, Mother Russia, Cuba. We got kids out there that need to fix their shit on the daily. And I'm not Cuban. Well, I mean, my background's sort of Cuban. But I'm not from there. But certain kids out there don't have the requirement, you know, can't afford $50 mouses every time they fucking break them. And I can't afford a fucking mouse like that all the time and shit. That's why I'm, you know, that's why people like me, even though I'm nearly 40 years old, we resort to various styles of taking care of our shit. Alright. So we don't need, now we sort of just tighten them a little bit. We change the a little bit, just a little bit, a slight little, like, that you feel it tight, that's it. There's no need for a massive amount. The fuck? No need for a massive amount of torque on this shit. You take the labels and put them back together. Remember, they're multi-use, so you don't need to worry about how they're aesthetics, if they're gonna glue back together or not, if they're gonna work, yada yada yada. Just put them back where the fuck they belong, and they should work as intended. No matter if they look like shit, don't matter. Wait, I put this one wrong. Gotta put it right. They have substantial adhesive to be put on and back off, to be put on and off of this thing a million times. As you can tell, my label looks like shit from so many pulling and so much bullshit, but that goes on the bottom. And eventually, as you use the mouse, they get flat again. So the mouse might feel a little rough in the beginning, but it doesn't take them It doesn't take them 1 hour to be back to where they were before. Like that. It doesn't take them. You use them. You technically use it after removing the fucking label, and they go back precisely to where they were. They could look like shit, but they you move it on the mouse or whatever. You move the labels to the mouse or around the on the mouse pad or whatever, and it may feel sort of grimy or scratching on something. And overuse, the mouse pad and the glue immediately react or whatever. They heat them, it heats together, they rub together real nice, and they go back to where they were before you remove them. They are right where they belong. Feels funny for a little bit, and they stop feeling funny. It feels like you never took them off. Alright, put the fucking battery on it. Battery on it. Battery on it. Battery on. And a working fucking mouse. So now, after sweating a little bit, it's hard to store 5K sweats a little bit, just like a little sweaty. We'll go back to playing our game. So we're gonna now play Roblox after I put everything away with the new mouse and see the difference if I could hold shift or if I could hold click with the new clicker, which should work flawlessly because I hear it. It's gonna work nice and tight. It's gonna be flawless. You're gonna have a brand new mouse again, from a mouse that lets go and off like a fucking broken up fucking switch or some shit to something that works. And if it doesn't work, it's something mechanical, and I don't know why it happened. If the fix doesn't work, it's the actual switch, but I doubt it's the switch because it's working okay on the computer. When I need to right click things, it doesn't, whenever I right click on the computer, nothing happens. The right click window doesn't go on and off. So it's some type of sensor. We'll see now when I go to Roblox if I can hold aim. There we go. If I can hold aim and shift. And I'll be back. Well, hold on. Yeah, let's just put everything back away. That's how you save yourself $160 fucking dollars, baby. If you like that mouse, that's how you save yourself $160 motherfucking dollars. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You either fix it, or you're a dummy, or you're stupid. It's like fixing a car that you put so much money into. It's like you either do it or not do it. Alright, so we'll just turn this off. I'm gonna go turn this off, go pee, and turn on the stream, or the other one. So we could return to what we were doing, which is playing Roblox. So I successfully fixed the mouse in your face, assholes. Trying to break my mouse. Fuck you. Fuck you. I fixed it. Yippee scum. Yippee pot smoking scum that vandalizes shit. Fuck you. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to streaming and we're gonna play some Roblox, and hopefully I fixed it. I'm pretty sure it should be fixed, but we'll